Still there? Good. Right, I know it's been a hot minute since the last session, but, you know, real life sometimes gets in the way. But we're back after almost an entire month of downtime. So what I've decided to do here now is do away with filming and presenting to you guys the, let's say, relatively boring humdrum type stuff of maintenance, roles for mundane background activities. And so that means that I'm going to try and get stuck into the fun stuff such as dungeon crawling and bashing monsters and killing off party members as soon as possible. But before we get on with that, I just want to quickly say that in that time, the party have been doing their best to support the community that helps them as well. And so I've obviously rolled up in the background the various amounts of money they make, as pitiful as it is. Worked out all the costs of living, rah. But more importantly than that is the fact that since so much time has passed, there are monthly events. So this month, nothing has happened. In-game, it's known as the month of the Manticore, which is the second month of spring in the game world. And we resume our adventuring activities on the Day of the Hound, which is the 17th of the second month. On top of that, there are also a certain number of Dominion events. I'll get into those more when one actually comes up, but nothing for this month. And last but not least, we also have a monthly roll for new arrivals. Now, so far we've been pretty lucky. I have been quite cautious, but I'm going to be honest, pretty easy on the party as far as encounters go. But that's fine. I mean, it's supposed to be kind of a, if you put it one way, a starter dungeon. And it's supposed to ease both me and the party back into adventuring. And anyway, don't have necessarily an infinite amount of reinforcements, so to speak, should anyone fall in the line of duty. So what happens is every month I check to see who ships over from the mainland over to the Stormlands to fill in any gaps that may have occurred. 2 have arrived this month, a wizard and a cleric. So I've marked that down. I haven't rolled up any of their attributes. I'll do that when the time comes. So before we get on with the exploration, I would like to remind people that the entire first level of the pit, the current dungeon we're exploring, the very first dungeon for the campaign, all of that was explored. We're going to leave this flooded chamber once we clear the entire dungeon. I mean, ahead of time, I know already that there's no treasure in there, but in the spirit of good role-playing, the party, obviously, the characters don't know that, so they're going to try and deal with the electric eels there as best they can, and then search it from top to bottom for any hidden treasure. Alright, so with that out of the way, I can pack this map away and break out a fresh piece of graph paper to start mapping the second level of the pit. Okie doke, so I've cleared away most of the clutter from the table, set up the little graph paper here, and the dice tower in preparation for some random dungeon generation. A little off camera, I have my laptop, upon which is installed the sandbox generator, which I'll be using as I have up to this point for generating said dungeon. So here we go, we've got our little landing here. Being a mine, I think it's fine just to make them narrow, cramped corridors as they have been. So we'll start off with a corridor roll, which will be D6, to see how many segments of 6 squares this one will be. Yeah, it's a short one, so that'll just be 6. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like so. And now we have features. We roll a d12 once per corridor section. An 8 is 2 doors. Excellent. So we worked out that there are going to be, what did I say? Was it 4? No, it was 6 rooms. Yeah, it was 6 rooms per level. This one included. However, this time around, there is a 20% chance per room that the actual boss, in quotation marks, will be present in that room. And of course, if none of the rooms contain the boss, then the last room will be guaranteed to have the boss. Now, the boss is an encounter that will be scary. In theory, I don't know. It seems to be a bit of a breeze up to this point, but we'll see. It's definitely it'll be a monster that can essentially guarantee fatality, at least one. So that'll make it scary, because you know it's mainly going to be the frontline fighters who are kind of important. I gotta say, the most important characters at this stage of the game. Anyway, 2 doors. Then we determine where the doors are. So the first door, 1 to 3, it's on the left. So the first door is on the right. So we'll roll a d6 to see whereabouts on the right. 6, so right at the end. So there's the first door. We'll work out whether it's locked in a sec. And the other door is on the left. And it is also right at the end of this corridor section. And so, as usual, it'll be the party in the usual marching order. We also do have our 2 retainers, as they did agree to stay on for the entirety of the dungeon. Unless, of course, we do things to change their mind. So that'll be the 2 strapping young peasant lads with their bills. One of which kicked some ass last session, which was exciting to see. Right. So we've got Billiam up the front with a torch in his hand, and in the middle of the party we have Mavros the wizard with a lantern for some redundancy as far as lighting sources go. So they'll creep forward at the snail's pace of 90 feet per turn as usual, poking, prodding, stopping, I guess mapping as well, though I haven't been actually explicit as to how much mapping is going on. So the party will move forward, so 90 feet, so that'll be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 when they get to the 2 doors. And the light extends 30 feet, so we'll roll to see where else this corridor leads. So it's a D8 roll. So that's an 8. Stairs to a higher level. Now we established that there's only 1 set of stairs, so let's re-roll that. 3. A T intersection. Excellent. So something like that. Obviously 1 or 2 of the people will peer around the corner to see what they can see before they start messing around with these doors. So we'll see what's on the right hand side. So I guess that'll be another corridor roll, I think. I don't know if I'm doing this right, but why not? Hey, it's another short one. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like so. And then features again. So it's a D12 roll. 10. Secret door. Alright. Whereabouts is this secret door? So it'll be on the left, and it will be on section 4. Now I know it's there. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, and I will put a little S there to show that it's secret. I'll put a little asterisk as a reminder that I don't know it's there. If it's discovered, or hasn't been discovered for that matter, then I'll rub that asterisk out and we can move on. Right now we're just checking. So no doors, and then we'll look that way on the left side of the T-junction. 3. So that's, yep, once again, another single section of 6 squares. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like so. Rather messily scratched in. I'll clean that up in a bit. And then features. 3, nothing. Or reroll. Yeah, nothing works for me. Alright, time to check out these doors. So we'll go with the left-hand side here. And the first order is to check the door to see whether it's locked. Now I need to quickly check my customized locked door table. Okay, so it is level 2 of the dungeon, so there is a 15% chance that it is locked. 15%. Here we go. I seem to have an uncanny knack of finding locked doors. Let's see if it counts for the second level. You couldn't make it up. Yes, with an 001. That is a 1, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to fill that in to show that that's locked. So the one obviously fiddling about with that will be Subdala, as she is a thief and the quietest. To try a creaky... well, it probably wouldn't be a handle, it'd be like a ring that you can pull at. And yeah, it seems that it's locked. And I guess also the fact that there is a lock, or a keyhole at the very least, would kind of give it away. And let's try the other door. Same deal, 15%. Alright, so that one isn't locked. Alright, so of the 4 rooms in the dungeon, we've already got 50% of them here. So what I'm going to do is have everyone listen at that door. So for timekeeping purposes, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's say that peering around there took, I don't know, a minute. Peering around there took a minute. So that's 8 minutes. And then trying those 2 doors, just to make things nice and neat, let's say that's a full turn has passed. With all that fart-arsing around. Now, everyone's going to listen at the unlocked door, including the 2 retainers, as before. So that'll be 6 player characters, 2 NPCs, marked by the slightly differing, more squarish dice. So I need a 1. Okay, so yep, that's just the 1 person, and it's one of the twins. Let's say it's Petard, as he's on a roll, being of use to the party since last session he kicked so much ass. So he says he hears something. Now once again, is there something to hear? There might not be anything to actually hear. So it's a D6 roll again. Yay, it's monsters. That's always fun. Alright, so we definitely hear monsters. Now, are these monsters that make a noise? Because as we established, most undead are dead silent, excuse the pun, as they're just standing there or lying there or whatever the case may be, not making any noise whatsoever. Let's check the encounter table here. And so I've been rather boring with the encounter tables for the pit, as I did say I wanted to ease into it. So rather than having a completely different table for the second level, which may well be the case for future dungeons, all I've done is simply made the same table for the first level and just added 1 extra critter to make the encounters slightly more difficult. Actually, before I roll on the table here, I should check to see whether it's a boss room. And that'll be exciting, the very first encounter. So it'll be a 20% chance. No, it's not, a 55. The Oracle has spoken. Now, let's roll again, this time using a D20. 11sies. That will be skeletons again. Very interesting. So far we've mostly fought undead, with only giant centipedes. But that's fine. I think the other stuff here, even as crappy as it is actually scarier than undead. The main thing with these crappy low-level undead is the fact that they just don't bother with morale, which can be a big benefit when you're up against the wall and outnumbered. All right, cool. So once again, even though someone heard something that, or so they thought, no, it's a quiet room. So in other words, it means that because we weren't alerted to the fact that there's definitely something behind that door, there's still a chance that we could be surprised. Whereas if we heard something, we booted the door in, then there'd be no chance of surprise. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is roll the number of skellies. D10 plus 1. Wow, okay. Well, this will be a cakewalk. So 3 skellies. And it'll just be a square room. Alright, so it's a D6 roll for the dimensions of the room. So it'll be a large room. D6 plus 3. So across, it will be 70 feet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So across and down 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is a big room indeed. Big old room. So I won't bother looking for treasure or rolling up for treasure just yet. We've got to deal with the situation at hand. So we boot in the door. As usual, it'll be Billiam and Auric. Essentially, this won't be booted open if I roll 2 1s. In any other case, the door is flung open. Everyone has their weapons ready. Wow, okay, that one was really stuck, but we still managed to just boot it open. So I'm going to set up the battlefield, so to speak, and then we'll go on to surprise and initiative rolls. Alright, so here we have the scene all set up. Here's the corridor that they had traversed. 2 doors facing opposite each other. This one booted open. Beyond lay a large chamber in the mines here. And just out of torchlight, because remember each of these squares on the so-called tactical map isn't 10 feet square, it's 5 feet square. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, so 40 feet away is what I've rolled the encounter distance off camera. And then I remembered, oh yeah, I should probably roll these things on camera, but that's fine. Time to roll for surprise. So it's a D6. So as always, white will be the party, black will be the Griblies. Nobody surprised. And once again, another roll. It'll be initiative. Oof. Okay, looks like the Skellies go first, but that actually kind of makes sense because well, the party can't really do anything. They didn't hear anything. They booted the door open, readied for the worst, and then sure enough, into the torchlight comes scuttling our bony enemies. So, referring to the monstrous manual, or should I say just the encyclopedia with all the monsters in it, yeah, skeletons we worked out are pretty damn slow. They're slower than zombies, believe it or not. Isn't that interesting? But they'll move 5, 10, 15, 20, which suits me just fine. And so here we have the party all arrayed in the usual marching order. So those of you that don't remember or need reminding, we have Billiam, Auric, and we have our 2 twins, Kajik and Petar. I think, yeah. And then we've got our 2 clerics. So that is Helig and Cordelia. We have Mavros the wizard, and last but not least we have Subdullah the thief. And this little doodad here is Cuddy, the party's mule, safely out of danger. Do movement for the party. So we'll move Billiam like so, Auric like so. We've got our 2 Billman retainers like so. And 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. That's Helig. Cordelia will hang back with her sling. And then we've got our 2 support characters. Obviously Mavros and the thief Subdala aren't going to go toe-to-toe with anything if they can help it. So they'll just hang back and provide fire support, so to speak. Speaking of which, shooting phase is next. Yeah, so we'll start with the closest, I suppose, which will be Cordelia. Now the AC of the skeletons is 7. So that's a miss for her. And then we've got Mavros with his sling. 10 is also a miss for him, I think. Yep. But short range. Oh wait, what am I saying? Doesn't matter anyway, because yeah, see, this is what happens when you're not regular with this sort of thing. You forget. Because one thing that just suddenly popped to my mind is the fact that it's not really said specifically as such in the rules, but this is, I guess, a house rule, that once people are engaged with the enemy, unless you want to take that -4 to hit, then you're just not going to shoot for fear of hitting your mates. And at this Thaco, I don't think it's worth doing. But that's fine. It's all good. I'm keen to get on to the hack and slash. Anyway, so that's the next phase, melee. We'll start with Auric as usual. So he has his horn shield, spiked buckler, as I prefer to call it, and his bastard sword wielded one-handed. So black will be the sword, red will be the shield. So he needs, I think he needs a 9. Alright, hit with the shield for D2 plus 3 damage. Okay, so that also is a good... This is an opportune time to roll the actual hit points for the monsters. They're 1 hit die, so they all have 4. So I'm going to just use this red die as a reminder. Plop it right there. And I rolled a 5. So it'll be 2 plus 3 is 5, so that one is crunched. Right, Billiam is next. And he will attack with his arming sword, or sword 1.0 as it were in BECMI D&D. And he also has a spiked buckler. Yep, 2 hits, and that's enough minimum damage to crush that one. As I was saying, this would be a cakewalk. And then finally we have Helig. He's gonna mix it up for a change. He doesn't have a spiked shield. He just has a regular one. And a, yeah, warhammer. So that will be D6 plus 1. Alright, so he's gotta hit the thing first. Does have a strength bonus. So he needs an 11. Yay! And 4, just enough. Yes, looks like the Saints are watching over this party thus far. Either that or the DM's just been really, really soft on them. I tend to think the latter more than the former. Anyway, a battle was a battle. Now, though it's not a hard-won victory, it's a victory nonetheless. And it's only a smattering of XP, which I'll record, and then I'll check for treasures and other fun stuff like that. Alright, so we've cleared all that mess away. Now it's time to explore this big-ass room. So that's going to take some time. Right, so according to my custom table here, there's only a 20% chance of actually finding treasure here. And it will only be type K. Now so far I've been rolling low for locked doors. Can I roll low for treasure? Here we go. Hey, look at that. Because that has the 0 after the 1, that is a 12. Sometimes it's nice to roll low. Why is this crap falling off of the dice tower? It's gross and annoying. Anyway, yeah, that's cool. So that's something. That still doesn't mean that it's guaranteed anything, as we discovered, what, last session or the one before that? I can't remember. I have the memory of a goldfish. Now, time to open up the book to Table K, Treasure Table K, and with the magic of editing, here we are. How much is that? Yeah, alright. Well, I don't know if you can read that or not. I can never tell on this tiny little monitor on the camera. Yeah, so K is right there. So no chance of copper, which is nice. So it's mainly just silver and electrum. I think there's nothing else. Yeah, it's just silver and electrum, which kind of sucks. But, you know, I think that's kind of the penalty I've placed on myself for making the dungeon so easy. So 10% chance of silver. No, sorry. Scratch that. It's a 30% chance of silver. Nah, no dice. And here's the big one, the electrum. 10%, come on. No. Didn't find Jack. Anyway, searching this room is going to take a while. Alright, after doing some maths, which is not my strong suit, I've worked out that this big old area will take approximately 2 hours to search by 6 people. Now it's not going to be 8 because I'm going to have 2 people out the front keeping an eye out for wandering monsters, because that's going to be a few wandering monster checks, and I'm pretty sure that means there's going to be at least 1. But let's just say, yeah, it'll be Billiam and Auric, the 2 frontline fighters. I think that makes the most sense, as they're the most equipped to deal with bum rushing monsters or being bum rushed by monsters. And also Billiam is good with equine animals of all kinds, so he'll keep an eye on old Cuddy the mule. Alright, so with the magic of editing, I've done all the boring maths and bookwork. So now you get to see whether or not I'm beset from all angles by wandering monsters and the like. Because according to my calculations, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 checks to make. So while everyone's busy, oh, it's a little bit off camera, while everyone's busy checking this huge ass chamber, there'll be Auric and Billiam, I guess, standing around in grim silence. I don't want to give away the position. Yeah, waiting for the thumbs up from everyone else saying that the whole area has been checked for basically 0 profit. Alright, here goes. Encounters are on a 1. So check number 1. Nope. Check number 2. Nope. Can you see that? Yep. 3. Nope. Oh, this is good. 4. Nope. Excellent. 5. Wow, can we escape unscathed? And 6. Yeah, sweet. So I'm going to be honest, as you can tell by my cheering, I think random encounters are a pain in the ass. Generally they mean no treasure, a wearing away of hit points, and other resources like ammunition and torches and the like. And for your troubles you get usually sweet FA as far as experience points go. So that is good. I'm pretty chuffed with that. Onwards. So I've marked off the torches, so that's 2 torches. And we've still got half a flask worth of oil in the old lantern. So we reassemble in the traditional marching order with the fighters at the front. And let's keep going this way. And yeah, let's see as we travel this way whether we find that. So as they slowly walk past, I guess they will check. No, I just realized another thing I overlooked in my haste to get on with things is that I did have 2 characters with danger sense that could have alerted me to the presence of the skeletons, but it doesn't matter. I just steamrolled them anyway. Something to keep in mind though for other things like boss monsters. Alright, so referencing the old cyclopedia, it turns out that it is just a 1. On a D6 roll, you need a 1 to find a secret door. Elves find it on a 1 or a 2, or is it all demi-humans? No, that's right. 1 or a 2 is detect noise for demi-humans. So, As I was saying, as they walk past, I guess everyone has a chance of discovering it. 1, yes, someone discovers it. Who that is isn't important, because they bring it to the attention of Dolly, Subdala, the thief, and she will check it to make sure there's no sneaky traps or some such. Now this is her specialty, and from memory it's, yep, it's no, that's open locks. Find and remove traps is 40. Alright, 40. Alright, if there's a trap to find, she just found it with a 39. Question is it trapped? So let's make it a 10% chance. No, so it's not trapped. Excellent. Now it's everyone's turn to listen. So I guess searching for that will take, oh god, I don't know, a minute? So I gotta be mindful of bookkeeping for time. So, a minute. And then as everyone listens, I'd say 2 people at a time can listen. And there's 8, so that'll be another 4 minutes. 5, yes, time to roll some dice. Alright. So someone heard something. Potentially. Now, once again, it's time to check the sandbox generator. Alright, D6 roll. 1. Trap. Ooh, trap rooms. Alright. And there's a 25% chance there's treasure in the trap room. Yay! Wow. I gotta say, it's pretty awesome rolling low for once. So yeah, there's trap and treasure. Treasure. Cool. So I'm gonna work out what kind of trap it is. And I guess a secret door might be stuck as well. I mean, regular doors get stuck. I mean, they're guaranteed to be stuck, but secret doors, not necessarily. Let's make it stuck on a 1. Right, cool. So we don't have to faff about with working that out. So that's cool. We can just open it. So everyone listened, didn't hear anything. They thought they heard nothing here. There was Skelly. So everyone, as usual, assume combat positions. And I guess Auric, after being shown by Subdala how to open the door, will open the secret door. And as light floods into the next chamber, it is, as usual, it will be rectangular. Looks like it's another, no, it's a medium one. This is a medium-sized room. So D4 plus 2 across. So it'll be 40 feet across. Let's just put it there. 1, 2, 3, 4, like so. And it will be 50 feet deep. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to make an executive decision and say that this was just a, self-contained room with no extra doors in or out. Maybe it was a secret storage room for whatever they were mining down here to make sure that no one came in and stole any of it. There is treasure. We did find it. So yeah, maybe what was mined is in this very room. But I'll be back in a tick after I work out the nature of the trap, because that's kind of fun. Rather than just rolling on a generic, yep, you disarmed it, who cares what it is. It triggered, you take X damage. I always think it's fun and flavorful to actually work out what it is. Like that flooded chamber upstairs. Oh, doing what I do best, I jumped the gun once again. Didn't realize that secret doors have their own table, because that's cool. I love tables. Should have been a carpenter. Alright, so I'm just going to once again make an executive decision and say it's camouflage. yeah, it's camouflage, because you have the option of making it in plain sight or camouflaged. And because this is just a simple mine, it's not going to be anything too fancy. It's just going to look like a section of wall in the mine without doors or handles or anything. But here's the exciting part. I get to roll a d20 to see how to actually open this thing. So here we go. 11. Hit a target. Okay. That's pretty elaborate for this, but that's cool. Maybe it was elves or some other demi-human race that are into that kind of silliness, let's say. So after looking around with her sharp eyes, Subdula noticed, yes, there indeed is some sort of a target, maybe not painted, but carved into the ceiling very faintly of the corridor they're in. And being the bright young spark that she is, quickly surmises that there's no other way to open it other than perhaps pressing that. So she knocks an arrow, looses it, and let's just say that it hits the center of the target. Does the arrow break? On a 1 or a 2 it does. No, it's fine. She retrieves it. And yep, click. The door opens, so Auric didn't need to open it. She still did all the hard work. And beyond is, yes, the chamber with the treasure and the trap. So let me go back to checking what kind of trap it is. Alright, so were this any sort of regular dungeon, Gonzo, Funhouse, call it what you want, any number of crazy things could be here. I'm going to roll on the table, and if I deem it unsuitable, then I'll just re-roll. So it is a percentile roll, which is pretty rare in this book, it seems. Here goes. Wow, rolling low again. 11. Caltrops. Okay, that's cool. Alright, first I've got to find the thing. So, after the secret door has been opened, everyone waits tensely with obviously the 2 frontline fighters blocking the doorway. And after waiting some tense few moments, straining their ears to see if there's more undead, maybe lurking, more intelligent undead, waiting to spring an ambush. No such thing happens. And so then, once they lower their guard a little, Billiam stretches his arm forward with the torch to illuminate the area here a little better. Slight technical difficulties. Not sure how much cut out, but as I was saying, yeah, there's caltrops here. One way or another, sharpened rocks or iron spikes hidden amongst the cracks and crevices. Let's see if Subdula will find them. 45%, I believe I said. Yay! 35. Finds them. Now just needs to roll the same to disarm them. 54. No such luck. That's fine, because in the spirit of BECMI, that's like the automatic low fuss, low effort way of dealing with traps. There is more than one way to skin a cat, as the expression goes. So I'm gonna have a quick think about this. Alright, here goes. I've thought, okay, how about if I get big old Auric, big and strong man that he is, big feet. He will strap both the cleric's shields to his feet. He'll walk around to protect his feet from the caltrops. Anytime he snags his feet / shield on one, he will then withdraw and smash it with one of their hammers. I think that's like nice and simple. Might take a little while and might not necessarily clear the entire room. I'm going to go ahead and say that there is a 15% chance that anyone else that steps in without these sorts of precautions will trigger the trap and take some damage from the caltrops, which will suck. But anyway, everyone's going to search the room. So same deal as before. There'll be 6 people searching the room for treasure and traps, etc. And 2 will be standing guard, and that will be Auric and Billiam once more. I guess I'll check for wandering monsters. So I worked out it'll take about half an hour. So yep, nothing. It's a relief. And now I'll roll to see if anyone's damaged. I did say there's a 15% chance that one or another of the caltrops is overlooked and not disarmed. So we'll start with the clerics. We'll go with Helig. Of course. Well, I'll get to him in a sec. Cordelia. Oh, just. That's the 16. And then we go Mavros. That's the big one. No, he's fine. He can't afford to take any damage. And I guess another big one is the actual thief. So Subdola. She's fine. And then we got the two retainers. So we'll go Petar. He's okay. And Kajik. He's okay too. So just Helig. So he takes D4 damage. Okay, so it's just 1 damage. So just write this on the scrap paper here. And I guess I'll get him to make a saving throw, or he'll be lame from stepping on a caltrop, which is their whole deal. It's supposed to slow people down. Just be a general pain in the ass. So I'd say a paralysis would be applicable for this sort of saving throw. So he needs a 14 or more. No. Alright. Well, so he only is going to be able to hop at half speed, I would say, until his next rest. Which sucks. Well, that makes things easy then for deciding whether I stick around or not. I think what I'm going to do is just clear this room out, load up Cuddy if any treasure's found, and just head back to the castle. I was originally intending to stick around and explore more, but I kind of want my party all at 100% if I can help it. Not sure how well it's coming up, but I've decided that, you know, just to fit the theme, there will be treasure in this treasure room, or at least a big ass chance of there being treasure. But it won't be, you know, magic items and things like that. So I've decided, because it's a secret room, I thought maybe this was like a secret storage chamber where the original miners had stashed their goodies. So whatever treasure's here won't be in minted coins, it'll be in unrefined ore. Now let's determine what kind of ore, because it's going to be a treasure type G, which is pretty generous, but I've been getting fairly chicken shit treasure so far, so here goes. 50% chance of lots and lots of gold ore. Yep. And so that'll be the equivalent of 1d4 times 10. 1,000, that is. Right, so that's the equivalent of 1,000, but let's say there's a 10% devaluation, as it's not actually coins. I like to make things difficult for myself. So that'll be 900 gold pieces for all intents and purposes. But here's the big one. This one could potentially level up the party, you know, one big hit. There is a 50% chance of thousands of platinum. Yes. Well, that was a 20 originally, but 005 is even better. But that is fantastic, because there is 1d6,000 platinum pieces. Once again, it'll be worth 10% less. So that is 1,800, essentially, platinum pieces worth of platinum ore. I guess in nuggets. Oh boy, that's pretty damn good. Alright, I think that's worth the troubles that Helig at least went to, laming one of his feet. So that'll take some time to load up all of that treasure onto Cuddy, and then we're going to vamoose. So I'm going to say that's going to be probably worth another wandering monster check. And yep, the party's luck holds up as I roll a 3. My word. Now we're cooking with gas. I dare say that's going to be better than the boss's treasure hoard. Maybe I shouldn't have made it so rich. But that's fine. We'll see how we go. I think that might be a level up. If not for the entire party, then possibly for the rogue, or thief, as they're called. Yeah, so turns out that'll be a total of 1,241 XP. And that's not even counting the 10% bonus each of the party members get. And 620 XP for the 2 retainers. So at the very least, that's going to bump up the 2 retainers to full-fledged henchman level. And they become proper fighters, which is pretty awesome. I kind of feel like that seemed too generous a treasure for that level. It probably was. Tell me what you guys think. Should I keep that? Or does it turn out to be fool's gold and fool's platinum for that matter? Maybe that's why this entire operation was shut down. Maybe it's cursed. Who knows? But at any rate, I think I'm going to leave it there. The party's going to load up and vamoose on out of there. Part of Cuddy's load will be Helig, who can only hop on 1 foot. Anyway, that's it for now. Stay tuned for more adventuring into the pit as we clear it and then move on to more, let's say, vibrant and dynamic dungeons. And possibly even some hex crawling once we reach level 3 or so. Thanks for watching. Until next time.
Chin ass!